You are now in the Black Box. Whoa. With Spider Loke, Most Easty, a.k.a. VJ Keyway, and the Google Gang. Let's go!
Sniper in that hustle. Big shout out to my nigga SPI, Spider Loke. You know I'm in the Black Box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.
Jeter, gratitude is the attitude. The show is a blessing to be back in the Black Box as we blow a succession. The constant, consistent, continuous content creation campaign continues. Those are the 7 C's. And as we navigate these 7 C's, I am the captain of the voyage, SPI Easty, a.k.a. VJ Keyway, Mr. 1597 himself, the host of our very own R&R Hour, where we relax, roll up, and randomly react to content in the YouTube streets. This one is coming from one of our faithfuls, 504 Street Stories. And the title is The Mind of a Killer, The Life and Crimes of Santio Casio, the man that stabbed Tory Lanez. So with no further ado, let's see what Mr. Castillo has been up to.
But instead I'm being torn down for a narrative that's like, now I'm the poster boy for I don't like black women.
Briefly walk us through what happened that night. It starts you're at a party at Kylie Jenner's house.
Rapper Tory Lanez has been sentenced to 10 years for shooting hip-hop star Megan Thee Stallion.
Sources say Tory Lanez was rushed to the hospital. He's expected to be okay. He's serving that 10-year sentence for shooting Megan Thee Stallion.
According to the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, Lanez was stabbed by inmate Santino Casio at a housing unit at the California Correctional Institution in Tehachapi.
The person that is alleged to have stabbed Tory Lanez is a man who is serving a life sentence for a murder charge.
The boyfriend of a 13-year-old girl who was found shot to death early Sunday in an apartment the two shared in Lancaster is being sought for her slaying, authorities said Tuesday. Santino, Sonny Casio, a 20-year-old parolee, allegedly shot Evelyn Brenda Sendejas in the head following an argument late Saturday night.
And I bet you the argument has something to do with her dealing with another dude. And here it is. He will take a life behind that punani. He allegedly got at Tory about some punani. That's crazy. He has an M.O., same old guy. He's not playing.
Before the world would come to know him as the man who stabbed rapper Tory Lanez 14 times inside of Tehachapi prison, Santio Casio was already a name whispered in fear across Southern California. But to understand what happened, we need to go back to the beginning, back to the night blood first hit the floor. In the murky corridors of justice where memory fades and testimonies fracture, a name emerges. Casio, Santino Casio to be exact, a man whose path through the legal system would unearth settling truths and end in blood. This story is just not about a man, it's about perception, prison politics, and ultimately how the thin line between chaos and destruction actually works. There are crimes that shake communities, there are crimes that shatter lives, and then there are stories that reveal the mind behind them all. This is the story of Santino Casio, a man convicted of multiple brutal assaults, a man sentenced to life behind bars, a man who even after his conviction would etch his name into the headlines one final time. Let's rewind. The story begins with a body, a 13-year-old girl. Her name was Brenda Sendejas, but to those around her, she was simply just Brenda, shot dead in what was either a calculated act of violence or, as Santino wanted the world to believe, a momentary lapse of control in the world of drugs, paranoia, and chaos. The story goes like this. As the sun dipped low behind the rooftop of Los Angeles, Bernadette's house, a place once filled with laughter, light, and late-night music, was quiet. But for Brenda, the echo of gunfire had silenced everything. Emergency responders would arrive too late. Brenda, only 13 years old, had no chance. Her body lay crumpled near the curb, victim not just of a gunshot blast, but of a growing storm of violence and instability.
Rest in peace, baby Brenda. Oh my goodness. Oh my mama.
News of the murder spread quickly. The community was shaken but not surprised. These weren't isolated events. These were echoes of a deeper decay, and at the center of the storm stood a man whose name by then had already started making its round, Santio Casio. In the days following the shooting, Santino's defense attorneys crafted their strategy. They knew what they were up against. The forensic evidence was damning. The eyewitnesses were ready to testify, and the tapes were impossible to ignore. But in the courts of California, a glimmer of legal nuance remained: voluntary intoxication. Could it be used as a shield? They argued that Santio Casio, fueled by methamphetamine, was too impaired to form specific intent. It was a razor-thin thread, and one the court had no obligation to support without a formal request from the defense.
That's deep.
As clarified in People v. Sally and reinforced by Castillo, the California Supreme Court had already ruled.
Voluntarily take the drugs and then commit a crime, you are criminally responsible. But the Supreme Court now says that 1994 change to the criminal code, it's unconstitutional. It violates charter rights of an accused.
Judges are no longer required to give jury instructions about voluntary intoxication unless specifically asked. And in this case, the defense never asked. Instead, the jury was left with a clear mandate: evaluate Santino's actions, not his state of mind. Prosecution presented a picture.
Do you think he was dumped intentionally? How does not a defense attorney raise that as a probable clause for you to be acquitted or for the sentence to be mitigated? That has to be intentional. How could he go throughout this whole process without thinking of that? That's crazy.
Picture of premeditated murder. The defense's silence on intoxication, whether tactical or negligent, sealed the strategy.
James Phillips, I want to talk about voluntary intoxication. So a lot of times in a crime, people think that the fact that they were drunk makes a difference as far as their ability to be defended as to what happened. The problem with voluntary intoxication is that it does not relieve you of having done the crime. So there is a place at which you can use that, and generally it's on sentencing or it's on places later on down the line which says, I was only so much responsible for the crime. Don't sentence me for a very, very long time because I was drunk. But most of the time, if you say committed a sexual assault or you committed, you were drunk driving or whatever it may be, that the reason that you still can be convicted of that offense is voluntary intoxication is on you, not the government. In other words, the government can go forward and say, look, he did this to himself and then he committed a crime. He should be held responsible for his actions, even though he may not have had the proper intent or something like that. Now, there are some cases where you have to have a specific intent or a specific kind of motivation to do a crime. And we can talk about that in your individual case, but in those cases, there are times that it can actually wipe out what's called mens rea or the intent to do the crime, but it's a very, very rare circumstance.
There was, however, one angle left to explore. In another violent encounter, one not involving Brenda, Santino had stabbed a man named Reed. It was just after dusk when the man staggered into a 7-Eleven, blood spurting from his neck. As he clutched at his throat, he asked the clerk to call 911. Then he collapsed. There were no cameras, no suspects, just blood and fear. The only physical evidence? A report filed by the LA County Sheriff's Department. A man with a life-threatening neck wound, a possible assault, a possible accident. The victim vanished, never testified. But years later, Santio Casio would confess. In a tape interview, he described the act, the location, the timing, the knife, and this time he claimed self-defense. During that tape interview, Santino stated he was drunk. There was some evidence to support that claim, but again, the instructions of voluntary intoxication were not requested. Why not? The answer perhaps lies in legal strategy. To admit intoxication might strengthen the claim of diminished capacity, but it would simultaneously undercut a defense of reasonable self-preservation. How can a man be defending himself if he's too drunk to perceive danger clearly? The jury deliberated. They weighed in the evidence, listened to the tapes, and studied the testimony. When the final verdict was read, there was no shock in the courtroom. Santio Casio was convicted. As far as Brenda,
my mama often fear and adrenaline will sober you up, I think that would have been worth the debate as a defense attorney.
The court, in its final ruling, affirmed the conviction. The judgment stood. Brenda Sendeja's name was etched into the record of California's darkest cases. The gavel fell, and Santio Casio was sentenced to life in prison. And just like a Sherlock Holmes mystery, the story didn't end there. Incarceration did not neutralize Santino. It incubated him. Not surprising at all, Santino's violent path didn't end in the courtroom. It will follow him through the prison yard, where years later, he would explode in a brutal attack that captured national headlines around the globe. An act would involve a name no one would have ever expected. It was supposed to be a routine day at the Tehachapi, California State Prison. That day, however, would make national news. On the prison yard, among the convicted and condemned, was a man known to millions, Tory Lanez, rapper, inmate, target. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that Tory was taking care of the blacks that he was housed with. This, however, would not sit right with the Mexican inmates, whom would hit Tory with the hard press, one of which he would rebel against. Before Tory's comrades could strike, out of nowhere without warning, Santio struck first, hitting Tory 14 times. A flurry of steel.
Now. The official story is Tory got managed at a visit with this dude's hyena. And then when they got back to the unit, he went big. And not only was telling him, like, I can have something done to you, I can phenuck your Brenard too. And that's what it is. That is the more official story. Just keep it at Google.
In a confined space. The guards intervened, but the damage was done. Tory had been hit and was bleeding out and would ultimately have to be airlifted off the yard.
Suspect has been identified tonight in the prison stabbing of former hip-hop star Tory Lanez. According to the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, Lanez was stabbed by inmate Santio Casio at a housing unit at the California Correctional Institution in Tehachapi. That attack happened early yesterday morning. An Instagram post from Lanez's account says he was stabbed 14 times in that attack, causing both of his lungs to collapse. The post goes on to say he's now breathing normally and is in good spirits.
Motive has been revealed to the public, but for those who are familiar with prison politics, it was pretty easy to read. It was a planned attack, one that Tory would survive. Santio Casio's path through the justice system was long, chaotic, and to some, inevitable. A man with a life sentence and nothing to lose. A man who left victims in his wake, and whom, even behind the walls meant to contain him, found a way to strike again, with Tory Lanez ultimately falling victim to prison politics.
Google gang, straight legend. Google gang, SBI. Google gang, Google gang in here. You better keep that shit up Google when you mention me. First sign of disrespect, I'm turning Hercules. It's gonna be a lot of shirts pressed, rest in peace. Keep it a Google, better keep it a Google. Keep that shit Google when you mention me. First sign of disrespect, I'm turning Hercules. It's gonna be a lot of shirts pressed, rest in peace. Keep it a Google, you better keep it a Google. Keep it a Google. You better keep it a Google. Better keep it a Google. Keep it a Google. Google, baby.
Bottom line, love life, show us a blessing. Pull up politic and blow us a session. Spot a local most easty, no mistaking the station. They making them statements, we waking and baking. Word of the day, EC on replay. The marijuana-thon with VJ Keyway, BS and BS. Killing on the track in the black box, we never put feelings over facts. Bay Machiavelli, run me the bread. I don't get mad, I get money instead. I be high, you can tell by a nigga eyes. But wise enough to enterprise, you dig a lies. Contemplating with the Google gang, conversating. Counting coins while these cowards in the comments hating. Only thing count, my count getting another comma. I'm a magnet to the money on my mother mama.
Better keep that shit up Google when you mention me. First sign of disrespect, I'm turning Hercules. It's gonna be a lot of shirts pressed, rest in peace. Keep it a Google, better keep it a Google. Keep that shit Google when you mention me. First sign of disrespect, I'm turning Hercules. It's gonna be a lot of shirts press, rest in peace. Keep it a Google, you better keep it a Google. Keep it a Google. You better keep it a Google. Better keep it a Google. Keep it a Google. Google gang.
You can't keep it a Google, then don't mention me. Run a check through the set, I bet them niggas mention me. Red Bull and Hennessy, I keep the same energy. No matter on a solo or a couple homies with me. Tell them come get me if they want confrontation. I keep a couple shooters with me. And we right here waiting on shit to pop off. Take a nigga top off, you tempt me. All that BS, you can miss me. Slide down Century, doing about 60 in the gutter lane. Faded off yak and drop the pistol, hopping out the rain. I won't change, keep it a Google, the only way. Mention me, I come out and play. That's on the gang. We're not the same, I ain't nothing like these rap niggas. Hanging with bangers, no bodyguards, we all strapped, nigga. All truth, no lies, facts over feelings. We ain't gon' start something we can't finish. Google gang.
Better keep that shit a Google when you mention me. First sign of disrespect, I'm turning Hercules. It's gonna be a lot of shirts press, rest in peace. Keep it a Google, better keep it a Google. Keep that shit Google when you mention me. First sign of disrespect, I'm turning Hercules. It's gonna be a lot of shirts press, rest in peace. Keep it a Google, you better keep it a Google. Keep it a Google. You better keep it a Google. Better keep it a Google. Keep it a Google. Google gang.
Nigga in that hustle. Big shout out to my nigga SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned, all that.
It's the homie cook-up boss, goddammit, Cub Low. And y'all tuning in to the Wake and Bake Show with goddammit the homeboy Spider Low.
Me with SPI, the realest nigga in LA.
Spider this bitch.
My nigga Spider Low. Spider Low, nigga.
Spider Low.
It's Spider Low.
Spider Low.
Spider Low.
Spider Low.
Spider Low, that's my nigga.
Spider Low.
Spider Low. Shout out to SPI, that motherfucking nigga.
Spider Low, Wake and Bake. Better keep it Google, nigga.
Loke is in LA somewhere doing what he's doing.
In the words of Spider Loke on my mama's mama.
Spider Loke's gear. This is Bay Mac.
Nate Bud, C-Mac. Shout out my Loke, Spider Loke, huh? Nate Bud on Hood. It's a beautiful world. You fight it? Fight, cred.
Point blank, through no subliminal dissing. When I listen, I can tell you never been on no mission. Sticking to the script, don't care if I offend you. Neighborhood crib, the marathon
I overlook my competition, never seeing them. I done trained my mind that I'm going. You could tell by how I walk, talk, I'm a boss. A east side millionaire, homie, what you thought? My life is a movie. They can't get close to me. They mad cause they can't be. I'm everything that they wanna be, yeah.
You are now in the black box. Whoa. With Spider Loke, Most Eastie, aka BJ Keyway, and the Google Gang.
Let's go!